Beware of false prophets who come disguised as harmless sheep, but they are really vicious wolves. You can identify them by their fruit, that is, by the way they act. A good tree produces good fruit, and a bad tree produces bad fruit. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot produce good fruit. Just as I can identify a tree by its fruit, so you can identify people by their actions. I am sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. Jesus Christ. The foundation of all mental illness is the unwillingness to experience legitimate pain. Carl Jung. Hurt people hurt people. When people deny pain, we form mental delusions, justifications, and rationalizations to protect the ego. These delusions shut down their emotions for themselves in order to protect the ego, and in turn shuts down their emotions for others. As a result, these people lack empathy and view happiness not through the emotional involvement of friends and family, but through material wealth and control over their environment through the manipulation of others. A social predator is a person with an antisocial personality disorder, manifested in aggressive, perverted, criminal, or amoral behavior without empathy or remorse. Deep down, we know if we did something wrong. We lose sleep, we feel sick, we wrestle with our emotions. But social predators don't have that problem. They can commit antisocial activities and sleep like a baby. They lack empathy for anyone, much less their victims. They have built a bubble in their mind that justifies all of their actions.
Some are saying that you're bipolar.
I'm bi-winning.
Winner, winner, ultimate winner. And you're going to understand winning. Winning. Winning.
Wow, winning.
That's an arena I'm going to win in. That's an arena he's going to win in. That is my plan. Thank you, Smitty. Winning.
This is why juries acquit the most obvious criminals, because they cannot believe that someone is that cunning or that unemotional. This is also why lie detectors don't work on those that are so evil. Their heart doesn't skip a beat or sweat when they are lying. It comes to them as natural as breathing. Social predators, or psychopaths, wear the mask of sanity, and in order for a psychopath to function in society, they must mimic those that they wish to be friends with. They act perfectly normal on the outside, but underneath there is tremendous psychological disorders. They recognize that they are different from everyone else. They even view themselves from a distance. That distance is quite similar to a predator in nature stalking its prey. They also have the ability at a very early age to spot other psychopaths. This self-awareness shows a mental and emotional disconnect that they have. They have no conscience and they have no guilt. They feel entitled to do whatever they desire. The psychopath must fool society into accepting their behavior or deceiving them into believing that they are doing God's work. We naturally reveal our sameness to avoid rejection to everybody we meet. We call it relating to one another. In nature, birds would peck other birds to death if that bird had any wounds or blemishes that differentiated themselves from the flock. In the past, strangers were not welcome to the tribe. Unless you were able to prove to people that you were like them, it could mean death. These social predators use this same principle to show their sameness to take advantage of an unsuspecting herd. Sam Vankinen is a self-confessed criminal psychopath that wrote Malignant Self-Love and was the subject of a documentary called I, Psychopath.
I like to present a facade of the self-effacing, modest person. I call it in my book false modesty. It's very works. It gives other people the impression that I'm underneath it all, I'm human.
You are human, aren't you?
I firmly believe that you want to believe that, yes. Firmly believe it. The vast majority of psychopaths, like an iceberg, are under the water. And like an iceberg, they are inert. They do nothing. They're just there. They torment their spouse by being unempathic, but they don't beat her or kill her. They bully co-workers, but they don't burn the office. You know, they are not dramatic. They are pernicious. Most psychopaths are subtle. They are more like poison than a knife. And they are more like slow-working poison than cyanide.
How do you identify these psychopaths? Here's a checklist that you can use to identify the people that are in your lives and those in power. Do they have glibness, superficial charm? Are they callous, lack of empathy? Do they have a grandiose sense of self-worth? Do they have a parasitic lifestyle that provides no real tangible value to humanity? Do they have pathological lying? Do they live an impulsive lifestyle? Are they cunning and manipulative? Are they irresponsible? Do they lack remorse or guilt? Do they have many transitory relationships? Are they emotionally shallow people? Do they show criminal behavior? Do they have the failure to accept responsibility for their own actions? Do they need constant stimulation, and are they prone to boredom? Common psychopathic delusions include that they are superior to the victim, that they deserve whatever they want, that everybody else is crazy or wrong, they have delusions of grandeur, they would say, why don't they just listen to me? They see everything as a means to an end, might makes right, or that they're just separating a fool from their money. How do psychopaths work in society? Psychopaths study victims by asking a lot of questions showing interest in the victim. They do this not because they care, but they are trying to see how best to take advantage of the victim, like a cat to a mouse. They then mimic the victim's values, image, tone, and interest. They come on strong, showering the victim with compliments and engaging talk. At work, they're the model employee, or devout followers, or selfless public servants. How many times have you heard the interview with the neighbor saying, after some crime, he seemed like a normal guy, and on the outside these people do. But these social predators lack empathy, love, and compassion. They seek only self-gratification and see others as a mean to that gratification. Once their reputation is established with the victim, and they had studied the power structure, it is time to divide and conquer. They will isolate the victim from friends and family. Once they are an item, the roles switch to cut downs to keep their victim insecure and unstable. They have mood swings from, they love you and they can't live without you, to, you're not the person I fell in love with, back to love. One key way of identifying these social predators is watch how they treat others in public, waitresses, children, former relationships, and older people. If these people do not serve a purpose in the social predator's life, they will most likely treat them in a very unflattering way. In organizations, they seek to cause chaos, pitting one group against another. There they will seek to be the middleman that brings peace. Finally, once in control, the psychopath uses fear and tyranny to push out the strong, independent people out and keep the rest of the weak ones in fear as the inmates run the asylum.
He's angry that some traders were driving down his stock price.
But what I really want to do is I want to reach in, rip out their heart, and eat it before they die.
I think in the tape there's a sort of nervous laughter in the auditorium. I think that sort of reflects quite a lot about how people within Lehman saw Dick. On the one hand, it sounded at one level amusing, and then you sort of thought to yourself, I suspect if you're in that audience, the really scary thing is he sort of could probably do it.
In a large organization, once a psychopath is in charge, workers' benefits or jobs will be cut while they are asked to sacrifice more. They will be closely monitored and often reviewed. On a national level, the threat of constant war, encroaching government power, and the end of justice makes people either despondent or creates other psychopaths. A nation of sheep always begets a government of wolves. Edward R. Murrow.